Hello guys, good morning. I'm at my storage unit again. We are in the midst of a little bit of a rainstorm. I'm exaggerating. It's been what is this? The fourth day in a row of rain here in Southern California, and today's supposed to be the last day. It's supposed to rain through today and I guess into tomorrow or something like that, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, so that's fun. The reason, actually, let me flip it back. The reason that I'm here again is so basically, well, I guess I'll flip it back. So basically, I've been hanging on to a lot of books that I feel are pretty good books for like a bookstore type of situation. But what I've decided to do is, in order to create space and to focus more on my FBA merchant fulfilled business, I'm going to get rid of a lot of these. I'm going to recycle them or donate some of them. Like I'm donating a bunch of the kids' books that I've held on to my, if they'll take it, of course. If they won't, then I'll have to go somewhere else to my daughter's school, because she brings home some of the books and they're in pretty bad shape. So the kids' books I'm going to be donating there. If they won't take it, I'll find somewhere else to donate them. I know of another place. Yeah, so I've held on. Let me show you. I've held on to, this whole table is stacked with mostly nonfiction books, and I've sort of categorized them with the idea of getting to the point in the future of, you know, throwing them up in a bookstore, in a warehouse situation. But basically what I'm going to be doing is only keeping the ones that are in really good condition, and the ones that I feel that are, you know, would be good on the shelf, that really make sense to hang on to, and other ones that are maybe more common or I just don't feel are worth hanging on to for whatever reason. Basically, I'm going to recycle those, donate some of them. Most of them I'm just going to recycle. So basically, I've been throwing them in this Gaylord. This is going to be for recycling. This used to be about half full until yesterday when I made that other video, and then after the video I started to go through books and just toss a lot of them. I mean, recycle them anyway. I had this whole wall here. There's not much there now. Those are the ones I decided to keep. But I had them all, like I had it stacked all the way up here across. And I decided to keep the paperbacks. So paperbacks that are in good condition. What I mean is they don't have messed up spines, they don't have little tears and major bends and things like that. So I'm hanging on to those. When I get some more boxes or crates, I'll put them in there. But the rest, all the hardcovers, fiction, I decided to just recycle. They're too big and bulky, and I just decided to hang on to the paperbacks. And then a lot of the nonfiction, I'm going to start going through that right now and seeing what is worth keeping. So number one, the condition, and number two, the topic. So I went through a bunch of cookbooks, and I'm only keeping a handful here. The rest of them I'm going to recycle. And now I'm going through a bunch of other stuff. So I'm kind of trying to focus on the now versus the future. It's tough when you have access to books or any type of bulk, and how to deal with the excess. So specifically for books, there's just so many of them. And if you have the ability to, if you're in a warehouse, if you have the space and you can throw up bookshelves and do like a once a month type of book sale, you can keep a lot of quality books that are in good condition, good to very good condition. Some even almost look new. And you can put them up there and throw them up on shelves and organize them, and then you know, have a sale, even just a monthly sale, big sale, advertise it a lot, and you can probably get a lot of people to show up and can sell off a lot of it, make some money, and grow it, and grow your, you know, your monthly sale, and then maybe turn it into something else. At least that's where I'm headed. But so a lot of these books, it's hard to get rid of them. You know, what most people do and have done in the past that do bulk books on any sort of large scale is they just recycle all the non-Amazon books. So some people do just FBA, Some people, so they'll get much less and they'll recycle the rest. Some people do FBA and merchant fulfilled, and of course a lot only do merchant fulfilled, and they just store them in their warehouse or storage unit or whatever it may be. So Lynn says, why don't you just take them to a half price books and get some money? Might not be a lot, but at least you'll get them off your hands. Half price books? I don't think there's a half price books around here. I don't think there's half price books where I live. So there's nowhere, so within like 30 miles or so, well, let's say within like about 20 miles, there's, let me think, very, very locally, there's one tiny bookstore, there's another tiny bookstore, and then there's a Barnes & Noble, and then there's another one that's small, really small, that specializes in like sci-fi. But aside from that, there's no other bookstores. So as far as I understand it, within about 20-mile radius or so, I got to go all the way into like LA or something like that, pretty far away. And it's not worth the time and effort. If I had something really close by and they would give me money for books, then I would definitely be doing that. But a lot of these smaller places, they won't give you money, they'll give you trade credit. Maybe some of them will give you a little bit of money, but I just don't feel that it's worth it to do that right now. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. So now I'm going through some of these nonfiction books. Like this one, I don't think I need to keep. The makeup book, I'm gonna get rid of that. The Dysfunctional President. A History of South Africa, that sounds like it might be worth keeping. Well, this one I know, Oliver Sacks. So yeah, basically that's what I'm doing now. This is a great book, nonfiction. Yeah, that's too popular. Organic, so here's a real like niche one. Organic gardening under glass. I guess they mean like, I don't know what they mean. But you know, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't have the dust jacket, so I'll probably get rid of that. These are, so the reason I kept them is because they were in good condition, and they have real specific niches. So like easiest tailoring. Let's see. American Cinematographer Manual. That's probably good. There's an, oh, that's right. See, so I kept a couple of these. So there's that one, and then there's writing, directing, and producing documentary films and videos. Then there's a cinematographer, and then there's crafting short screenplays that connect. Those are all, you know, movie making type of stuff. But I'm gonna toss these, so I'm just gonna throw these in the recycler, or the Gaylord. It's gonna go for recycling. See, this is another one. It's photography, but it's similar to those movie books or movie industry books. I mean, I don't know about you, how you feel about getting rid of this type of stuff. Here's one. What is this? This one just looks kind of cool. Yeah. Mysteries of the Ancient World. I'm probably going to get rid of that one. See, this one's in bad shape. I mean, look at that. So I'm going to get rid of that. If you guys have comments or questions, doesn't have to be related to what I'm talking about. Look, the Encyclopedia of Unsolved Crimes. But it doesn't look, it looks kind of cheesy though. So I'm going to get rid of that. Well, this is intense. How We Die. Reflections on Life's Last Chapter, Final Chapter. But it's kind of a little messed up. Now this is old. The Family Camping Handbook. It's so old though. I wonder if anybody would, it just seems like it wouldn't make sense. Aviation Quarterly, I'm not going to keep that. Now, Now here's unique. Talk about specific. Solving deer problems. So it would be gardening. How to deer-proof your yard and garden. I'll keep that for fun. See, the perfect patchwork primer. It's a little old. It's just kind of... The fire came by. I don't know what that is. Nah. Okay. There's another. Oh. There's another one. Well, this one has to do specifically with acting. A challenge for the actor. But again, I mean, this is kind of... I mean, it's not that bad a shape. But it's got some crap on the edge there. So all these are going to be recycled. I mean, kind of the number one focus for me with this is just to make space, basically. I mean, I had all of this filled up, and now I've created a lot of space, and it allows me to just have space to work when I get more Gaylords. I'm going to be a little more ruthless about what I hang on to that isn't good for Amazon, and what I get rid of. Because otherwise you just get buried under stuff, and that's kind of what's happened with me. Yeah. Here's some kid stuff. See, it's kind of in bad condition. You know, these chapter books, Judy Blume. This one's older. These are ones I'm going to donate and see if a school wants them. You know, that's the amazing thing is, this one's messed up. I mean, look at that. These Magic Treehouse ones. What's that? Research guide. That my daughter sometimes she'll bring home every week a book from school, and a lot of them are just they're not in great condition. Oh, like that. And I don't want to donate books that are really bad condition, so I only want to donate ones that are in good shape. The Masonator. I'm good. How are you doing? I'm just doing some sorting of books that I have in my storage unit. Trying to deal with or create more space. I mean, look at these. I got these Rick Riordans. I think 4 of them. That one. That's the trouble, is I know these types of books would sell really well in like a bookstore type setting. Or you can sell them on eBay. But, you know, books just take up so much space and they're so heavy that I don't really want to do book lots just yet on eBay. It's enough as it is doing CD lots and DVD lots. James Patterson book. Oh, $2, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, that's the thing. Yeah, this one's too, I mean, this one's got, there's this book, but it's got, you know, writing on it. So I'll just toss that. This one's in bad shape, I don't know. It's like young adult type stuff. See, I don't know also, my other problem is with this, is I don't know, oh, the The one I just tossed. Here's another one, Shadow Thieves. I mean, I know more of the adult stuff. I don't know, aside from like, the real popular stuff. Yeah. So, what did you ask me? What is your criteria for a book worthy of being merchant fulfilled? So, merchant fulfilled. Hold on. It's profit for me, whether it's a book or a CD. It's always going to be profit. So I wanna make merchant fulfilled or FBA. I want to try to make at least $3. So, I mean, again, it depends. If it's a book that's going to sell really quick, I need to make a video. I have written out notes, but I need to make a video about merchant fulfilled, about how my merchant fulfilled business has been going. I was going to make one about all the sales that I made last year with it, and it's really great. The last month or so, mostly December, I bought a lot of books at thrift stores and merchant fulfilled them, and I sold a good percentage of them. Partly probably because of it being December, but I would say I kind of look for about $3 profit at least, unless, like I said, the book is going to go really quickly, maybe a little less, but never less than, I would say, than $2 to $3. You just got to figure, how much time it's going to take you to do that. But with merchant fulfilled, it's pretty easy. I mean, you just have to list it. I use AccelerList to list, and if I have like 20 things to list, I can just do it all at once and then submit it, and then it'll be live within 10 or 20 minutes or so. And sometimes I'll get sales pretty quickly or within a day or two. It just depends on what it is. I've been selling. I don't have very many books merchant fulfilled listed. I have more CDs, but I've been selling a higher percentage of the books lately than the CDs. So yeah, it would be profit for me. Rank doesn't matter as much as long as I feel that it's actually going to sell. I mean, if it's a 5 million ranked book that's going for 1 second, Dylan, it's going for a lot of money, and there's only like 1 or 2 other offers. I mean, maybe I'll list it, especially if I got the book out of a Gaylord for sure. If I have to pay $1 or $2, then maybe not at the thrift store. So it depends on your source and how much you're paying as well. I mean, I pay $65 a Gaylord for books. I mean, all I need to pull out of there is a couple of books, maybe, depending on what they are, but anywhere between 5 or 10 books for FBA and merchant fulfilled to pay for the whole thing. Well, more than, like I said, it depends. If it's a $50 book, I can pay for the whole deal, with a couple books. But yeah, so basically it's the profit. Have you ever sold at a flea market? Yes. So I did this experiment last year in August, and then I think I did it in October. I did a swap meet, which did not go well. Oh no, a flea market first for CDs, and then I had some books. I had all kinds of CDs, but I did not have them organized. So they were random, and people had to look for them. And then I had a bunch of fiction books and some other random stuff, media, and it did not go very well. I basically broke even, and then I did a swap meet, which was the one in Pasadena. The Rose Bowl that has a monthly swap meet, and a lot of people go, but there's a lot of vendors. I got a space, and that did not go very well. I mean, I made money, but not very much, because I had to rent a truck. Actually, I think I considering the truck and everything, that I think I barely broke even. I can't remember exactly. I made like over $200, but yeah, it just didn't go very well. I mean, one of the things is, so for that one I had CDs and kids books and a little bit of fiction, and so most people just wanted, hardly anybody bought any books, and any of the books that they bought were kids books. The rest of them were looking at the CDs. I was selling them $3 a piece, or what did I do? 5 for $10 or something like that. And I sold like over $200 worth. but it's not worth it. But they were organized by group and artist and by genre, so that helped people to be able to find things quicker. And I talked to a couple people who were impressed by how many CDs I had, and I talked to one guy who was from the music industry, like an accountant for the music industry, and he was like, "Yeah, you have a really great collection. It's great for somebody who wants to start a collection because I have all different types of genres and artists and groups." So it just maybe the thing is, which is what somebody mentioned to me, is you have to go back repeatedly to build sort of a clientele and find out what people like and that sort of thing. But it wasn't worth it because of the physical labor of having to move all those CDs into a truck and then drive there early in the morning and then set up, take them all out, and then be there for 8 hours and then load them back up in the truck, drive back to the storage unit and unload it. I would have to make like a lot of money for it to be worth it. Or have to be willing to make enough money and pay somebody to do that labor for me because it's just too much. So I decided to not do that. And instead, if I'm going to sell face-to-face, it's going to be in my own little store or in part of my warehouse. Craigslist. You mean selling on Craigslist, Lynn? Whoops. Again, it's all time, right? Oops. Dylan said, have you branched out to vinyl records? It's making a comeback. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm not doing... One sec. So I did sell vinyl records a couple years ago on Amazon. I did really well. But I decided to focus on CDs because they're a lot quicker to process and to ship out. So I'll probably get back into vinyl at some point once I have a bigger inventory, and probably what it's going to have to be is I'm going to have somebody helping me because I can't do everything alone. If I want to grow the business bigger and then branch out into vinyl and that type of thing. But for now, I'm not going to do it. But I would highly recommend getting into it and figuring out what's good stuff to buy because there's a lot of money to be made in vinyl. Selling it either on Amazon. I haven't sold really any on eBay, but I have. Yeah, I haven't really done eBay for records, but Amazon was really good. I sent in probably, I don't know, a couple hundred a couple years ago, and I sold most of them. And the good thing about records is, you're talking like easily you can find. I would only send ones in that would sell for around $20 or more. So, when I was making record sales, they were higher priced items. So that's really good. The bottom line is with records, you have to know, get an idea of what's worth looking at, because you can go to a estate sale, you can go, thank you, Lynn. You can go to garage sales, you can go to thrift stores in there because there might be like 1,000, hundreds or 1,000, thousands of records, and you don't know where to start. So a lot of that stuff is just no good, like the big band stuff and classical and a lot of random older stuff that is not even worth looking at. Some of the better genres are probably going to be like classic rock, some 80s stuff, certain harder to find stuff like punk or maybe rap or a lot of the niche type of things, maybe some heavy metal, and which is the same thing for CDs. So, but with records, you have to, just like with CDs, you have to know what to look up. Although it's easier with CDs because they all have barcodes, most of them, and most records do not. So you have to manually look them up to know what to look for. And then, you got to take out we got to do the same thing with a CD, but it's easier to take out. But, you got to take it out, and then if there's any problems with it, you need a record player to test it. Usually, in my experience, most of the records were not damaged, but there's always going to be some. So I bought a record player. I have one at home, and I would test some. But for the most part, as long as there's not like a scratch that you can kind of feel with your fingernail or your finger, it should be fine. And then, buy some sleeves because sometimes they won't have them. And then you got to have the the transparent sleeve to put it into, and then you got to have a suffocation sticker to sell on Amazon. If you're going to do eBay, you don't need all that, but if you're going to do FBA on Amazon, you need to have those to send in. And they're bigger and sort of awkward, so finding a box for them, if you're going to send in 100 of them to Amazon, they're heavy too, is another thing. So weight, dimension, more time to process. But again, if you're willing to put in that effort and time, there's generally more money in them per album than there are, in other things. So, oh, about Craigslist? No. Excuse me, I'm not really selling. I mean, do you mean like, Lynn, do you mean like individually selling books or CDs or whatever on Craigslist? Because that's not really something, or do you mean like grouping stuff together? Because I have sold when I wanted to get rid of CDs, I've sold a bunch off at the same time. Like I had one guy buy, I think he bought like, I don't know, over 1,000 CDs. And then, hold on. Yeah, so individually, no. I wouldn't want to do individually selling on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. But for big lots to say like, oh, I have, 1,000 CDs, all genres, give me $200 or $150 or whatever. Yeah, it's a great way to get rid of a bunch of stuff. A lot of times they're going to be resellers though. So it's up to you whether you want to be upfront and tell them, I have 1,000 CDs, but they've already been scanned for Amazon, so these are better for eBay, swap meets, music stores, etc. You can say that or say nothing, and then it's up to them to decide what they want to pay. Take pictures of the albums though, like have them in boxes and take pictures of the spines so that people can see. For resellers, they can see what they are. How long does it take you on average to go through a Gaylord? Of what? Of books or CDs? CDs, I can sort a Gaylord of CDs by myself in about 3 to 4 hours. And what that means is completely emptying it, throwing away all the broken ones, empty ones, and then stacking them up so that I can then scan them. So I can do that pretty quickly. In terms of books, I don't know because I tend to go... I haven't gotten really heavy into books, Gaylords, so I don't really have... That's something that I have to figure out as I get quicker at it. I mean, by myself, I could probably go through... If I was to just push myself, I could probably go through a Gaylord a day. But, I don't have typically all day to do it. But I could probably do it by myself. If I had somebody helping me, I could do multiple a day. The trick is with Gaylords of books is you have to know what's not even worth looking at. So condition-wise, number one, and then the type of book, like old stuff that you might not, old books that no one's going to be interested in, that's outdated, that type of stuff. Encyclopedias, dictionaries, certain Bibles you might want to look up, but so you have to have the eye. You have to figure it out. So, do you still use Declutter? No. I stopped using Declutter for a couple reasons because what am I saying? What was my train of thought? Yeah, I stopped doing Declutter because they weren't paying very much money, but also because I didn't want to support them as sellers on Amazon, because all they do is race to the bottom. They have repricers that undercut the next seller by a penny, and they just go down to the bottom, bottom until they're down to, for CDs, until they're down to like, you know, a penny for a CD. And so I didn't want to support them. I mean, they don't care. They're going to still get plenty of CDs. And they're a massive seller on Amazon, based in the UK, and then Declutters in the US. So, you know, they sell a lot, but I didn't want to support them anymore. Mason, just curious, I currently have the opportunity to buy 52 Gaylords of mixed, oh wow, DVDs, CDs, and video games, so trying to figure out if I can even handle that much volume. Oh man. So that's a truckload, right? My assumption is that's a truckload of Gaylords, like a Mack truck, 18-wheeler. So, number one, do you have the space? Yeah, double stacked. So do you have the space as in, do you have a warehouse space? Because, I mean, I could fit at most double stacked in here probably 24, and this is a 10 or 12 by 29 foot storage unit, but then I wouldn't have any room to sort, so I'd need 2.5 of these just to handle the storage of it. So you'd probably need, like, I don't know, I'm guessing 1,500, 2,000 square foot warehouse. Well, maybe 1,000 foot to 1,200 foot warehouse, you know, double stack them and then have room to sort. So do you have the room, number one? Assuming you have the money, but do you have the room? And then are you getting help? If you're going to do it by yourself, it's going to be pretty brutal. And then what are you going to do with everything? I mean, what's your intention? Are you going to sell on Amazon or eBay or both? Because there has to be, so you have to have room. You have to have a process of how to get through them. So what I found out is really important, whether it's books or CDs, is you have to really have, like, and I even recommend writing it down, which is what I'm going to do, so that I can, you know, move towards hiring somebody to help me, is a process of how to go through the CDs, a process of how to go through the books. So for CDs, you know, if it's going to be mixed media, you're going to have CDs, DVDs, video games, software, random VHS tape, maybe even a record in there, audio cassettes, all different types of stuff mixed in. So the first thing you have to do is sort them, right? Put the DVDs here, put the CDs here, put the software here, that type of thing. As you go through them, some of them are going to be broken, missing a DVD, missing a disc. You want to throw those out. Oh, okay. $50 a month. Wow. Okay, so if you, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, hold on, let me see what you said again. Yeah. Yeah, if you have a process, I mean, yeah, I would say go for it if you can. I mean, but like I said, if you can't find storage, then, I mean, if you looked into a warehouse, the problem with the warehouse is you have to sign a lease. You know, it's more expensive. But I don't know what warehouse spaces cost where you live, but you can look into that as well. I would say go for it if you have an affordable storage option. I mean, if you can't find something that's not paved, then it's going to be difficult unless the truck can pull up, like, directly behind the storage unit, and then, you know, they can just load it. That's the thing. Like, if you have, it doesn't matter if it's not paved, if you have a forklift, right? Because you can just pull it off the truck and bring it into your storage unit, and then of course your storage unit is going to have cement, so you can just put them down and then move them around with the pallet, jack, or stack them if you have to, whatever it is. So it depends on the logistics, right? I would say go for it if you can figure out the logistics and you can afford to purchase the 52 Gaylords, and you feel that confident that you can get through them, you have a system to get through them, and that you can sell the stuff for a good profit. Then of course go for it. You never know until you try, and just make sure you don't go, you don't spend too much money on everything before you try to make it back, basically. I started really small with bulk. I didn't buy so many Gaylords. Dylan asks, how do you store and sort your eBay inventory efficiently? I'm always finding myself taking 5 to 10 minutes to find a CD because I have hundreds listed. Well, so I don't know if I do it efficiently, but my CDs I have stored, shelved in my garage alphabetically, so I can find one pretty quickly. Now, the downside to that is you have to constantly be, as you add more, you have to find room for them and move the other ones over, and it's a bit of a logistical, while you're storing them, it's a bit logistically a headache. So that's the downside to it. But I can, once I have them all organized and they start selling, I can find them pretty quickly. But I love that 2 people just showed up and then left right away. You can find them pretty quickly. But what most people do when they get to have larger inventories, whether it's eBay or merchant fulfilled, is they use like a location SKU. So with eBay and Amazon, you can have SKUs. And then you can put, like if you have shelving, like row 1, shelf 3 type of a thing, right? So if you have, your one row, let's say you have 5 rows of shelves, then, you can say whatever row, whatever shelf. Maybe on the shelf, it's in a box. If it's not in a box, it's just shelved there. Sometimes they'll do the boxes. They'll have like I saw pictures of Declutter, and they have rows, and then they have shelves, and then they have boxes. So they're like, they're not, it's like a box, like a box cut to the top of the CD, and each of those boxes is labeled, has a number or letter or whatever. And so then they just go into the box and they find the CD in that box. That's a way to do it as well. Oh, Newegg is a website, like newegg.com. Do you get a lot of sales on there, though? Is there a lot of traffic? I've never heard of it. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. Well, at some point I'll check it out, because it's always nice to have alternatives. But for you, considering you can't get on Amazon with CDs, which really, it's unfortunate. But yeah, you got to try something else. I don't know though. I don't know what advice to give you in terms of. I can't give you personal experience, advice from personal experience about selling outside of Amazon with mixed media Gaylords. A lot of the CDs, 10% or so go to merchant fulfilled and FBA out of each Gaylord. But, the rest of them are eBay. Or eBay basically, so. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to finish up here, focus on going through the rest of the books. This is in anticipation of them delivering 4 Gaylords tomorrow, so I can be have more space to work in and not be so stressed out about not having as much space and having all these books piled up, and also, you know, getting rid of them. So they're going to pick these up so I can get rid of the ones that I don't want to keep. Oh, hold on one second. You too, Masonator. Dylan says, if you get video games but not worth it individually on eBay or Amazon, I'd be interested in buying the non-sports titles. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, Dylan. Thank you. Guys, please thumbs up if you can. I really appreciate it. Most of you guys are probably subscribed. If anybody that watches this is not, please subscribe as well. Hopefully I'll make another video tomorrow. And hopefully it won't rain tomorrow. If it rains again tomorrow, probably getting those Gaylords, but that's okay. All right, guys, keep booking.